Alright guys, TacticalRabbit here, and let's go through day 3 of week 2 of the CWL Global Pro League. It was once again a very interesting one. A lot of kind of upset results. I was predicting a fair few game 5s today, but they didn't necessarily go the way I expected. So let's go through all of it today, as always. Like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new, and yes, UYU versus Reciprocity was the very first game of the day. I predicted this to go all the way down to the wire, and it did indeed. UYU won the first hardpoint, and wow, Reciprocity, man, they just came off the back of that win against Midnight yesterday, and, well, they can't get it done, let's put it that way. Not surprising, UYU's hardpoint has actually been really, really good. Mayhem was back to fantastic form in this one, 30 and 20. Yeah, Knight did really well. Skies had a fantastic map right here, and the fact that Reciprocity were even close in this, considering the slaying, is pretty crazy. Like, Wuskin double neg, Tommy double neg. These screen grabs are courtesy of EasyMac. I'll leave his spreadsheet and his Twitter down in the description box below. Just fantastic stuff. I love looking at these. So yeah, Reciprocity lose map number 1, even though really it shouldn't have been close at all. And UYU really do have some good slaying power when they get going. Map number 2 was Reciprocity's in round 11 here on Gridlock. And they won both their searches against Midnight in round 11 as well. So the fact they clutch up again is pretty ridiculous. And well, you can see the kills on the side of UYU are all over the place. Shawnee had a fantastic map here. He had a 2-piece round 11 with his Annihilator to win them the game, even though UYU had 200 HP. So that was big for Reciprocity. But then map number 3, they got 3-0'd out here on the control. And this wasn't particularly close, to be honest. I'll show you a clip from this in just a second. But that round 2 was the really important one. It was 4-4, and then the specialist got popped on the side of UYU, and it was all over. And then when you've got your specialist built up to a good point, and then you've maybe got some streaks going in there, when you go back onto that defense for round 3, it just feels like an impossible task for Reciprocity, and UYU were able to close it out no problem. Map 4, 250 to 198 in favour of Reciprocity. They really got hard carried here by Zed. He just put the squad on the back, got the streaks when required, and yeah, you can see that after like kill 3 or so, Reciprocity just ran away with the game. And then, game number 5 on Hacienda Search. Now, the first time that UYU played Hacienda Search, or at least the first time they won it, was against Evil Geniuses the other day, and they pretty much demolished EG, but I had that down really to EG playing a horrible map. But they play Reciprocity and they win it on it here. So even though this was like only their second S&D win, I think, of the Pro League, you got to give them credit for actually playing pretty damn well. And the thing with Reciprocity right now, look at these box scores right here. Like, they cannot all get on the same page at the same time, and that's a real worry for them. So this is the closure to that map number 3 control. Tommy gets a 2-piece with the Grav Slam, and well, this isn't actually the closure, but this is round number 2, and this, well, effectively does close it out, because UYU, they have a 1 life disadvantage here. 30 seconds to take over the A point. You would kind of favour Reciprocity, but it's all on this gunfight here that Shawnee has. Over at the side, in this situation, you may even have to, you know, considering popping something like an Annihilator wouldn't necessarily be a bad shout. But Mayhem once again gets a 2-piece. Proto is just super good with those slides. And this is the 4 versus 4. It's looking super close, but then Mayhem brings out the War Machine, and that pretty much spells the end of the game. Defense is pretty heavily favoured on this map, I would say, overall. But when you get into this church, especially if you have something like this to spam out the side of it, there's basically no way you can get back in. And yeah, Reciprocity lose that one, and effectively, that was the map that lost them as a series, in my opinion. So to finish off with a box score, Mayhem, Proto and Skies are EasyMac's MVPs of the series. To be honest, Reciprocity, none of them really got going apart from Zed, and that was only really in that map 4. Mayhem had a 1.4, Skies had a 1.5. Haven't really seen a series out of Skies like that just yet. And yeah, even with Methods not playing, or at least statistically not doing incredibly well, the rest of his team would have carried them through, which I guess is a fantastic sign for UYU as a team. So Series 2 of the day was a super quick one. Red Reserve versus EG. I'll link the video on screen and down below to the video that if you want to watch it on Red Reserve, and why they are no longer under that organisation, it does seem right now, unless some unbelievable miracle happens. And yeah, Red just went off here, rated a fantastic map. Joe, honestly, is super underrated at this game, and whenever I watch him, he's honestly playing really well. Like, this is Black Ops 3 Joe. This is probably his best game in the last couple of years. And honestly, I really like the way he's playing right now. He gets streaks way too often for a player like Joe. And this 1.4 KD map number 1 really helped them against EG. And EG traditionally over the last few days have been really good in their map 1. So yeah, this was hell of a thing. And Exotic having a poor map 1 is really the tail of this series. Map 2, 6-3 Red Reserve on this Hacienda Search Search and Destroy, and yeah, EG just cannot get anything going on this. Their strategies were atrocious. None of their players were even positive, apart from Felony at 6-6. The clip I'm going to show you in a second is just tragic on their behalf in Search and Destroy, and I don't know how they can be fixed right now. Doesn't matter what Revan's telling them, it appears. They'll just do whatever the hell they want. And look at Joe again, 11-3. Game 3 Control. Red Reserve managed to clutch up on the defense right at the end. This was an interesting game actually, because the attacking team won the first 4 rounds, which is pretty rare, I would say, for, you know, Control in general and Gridlock especially. They won all the first 4 rounds, but then Red Reserve won the round 4 pretty convincingly, to the point where they had their specialists ready to go, and they were able to close out that final defense to win the game and win the series in a 3-0 fashion. So this is round number 8 of the Search and Destroy, and this really shows how bad EG play Search. So here they do actually go mid, which is a rarity for them. They cut mid straight into B, they put the bomb down. Goonjar's over here taking a pretty individual gunfight. Look at the way Goonjar plays this. He backs up, okay, finally he gets back with his team, but sometimes he'll end up taking individual fights there. And Rated has a really tough time. He gets shot out 3 versus 5. There's no way you can lose this. Goon's at the back, playing a single gunfight on his own. No trade in the hands of Zero. And look at the way Red Reserve are going to execute this retake. So they've got Joe and Scraps coming through mid. Zero's coming to join them as well. So yeah, he gets stunned here, does Joe? And look at Royalty. He just runs out and runs into Zero's pre-fire. Now it's a 3 versus 2. Vicento gets destroyed by Joe in just a second here. And then it's your boy Felony left in the water. He's going to get flowed out by Zero. No chance at all. The ego challenge from Trey is to no avail. And oh my god, like, how do you throw around like that? That's just tragic. So this is the box score to finish off the series here. Once again, the 3 top players in Easy Mac's opinion, all from Red Reserve. Not surprised really. And that 0.6 from Exotic is something you don't usually see from that player. Rated having a good series as well, which is good to see for, you know, him getting back to form, and wow, Joe just took over. Now, if you thought that series was quick, series number 3 was even swifter. And I think this has surprised a lot of people. When Midnight lost to Reciprocity yesterday, I thought it was just okay. Reciprocity clutched up really hard, and Midnight probably still a pretty damn good team. But the way they lost to Luminosity here was super interesting, and I don't know what to think right now, because are LG back into form? Are Midnight, you know, falling off pretty drastically? What are we seeing here? Because this 3-0 was comfortable for Luminosity. Now, Midnight have been known to go down early in hard points and still come back and win. Obviously, that's unsustainable. And right here, they get demolished. Nearly they get 100-point club map number 1. Slacked has a fantastic game here as well. And yeah, this really was Slacked series. So maybe he's shutting some of the haters up. I don't know, because there's been a lot of calls for him to go as of late. Map number 2, 6-2 in favour of LG on Hacienda. This was a map they actually won against UYU when I think they lost 3-1, but Gunless went 16-4 for them to win this map, and yeah, he goes 10-2 here. He has a crazy highlight play to show in just a second. Slacked once again, 11-3. What a man. Midnight looked super lost right now. Like, they did not look like they were playing anything like their performance in the first week. They weren't playing as much as a team as they have been. And yeah, individual plays, individual retakes. And I feel like their individual plays, and like on the back of Envoy and Jetly and, you know, Brack especially, were really getting shut down by the team play and by the VOD review that these guys on Luminosity have done. Then game 3, once again, this was not close whatsoever. Round 2 got a little bit sketchy at times, but LG won every single round they were on frequency, and they seem to be pretty damn good at this map as of late. And yeah, Midnight couldn't even get close to them, so I'd be really interested to hear your guys' thoughts on, you know, what exactly is going on here. Midnight are falling off. Definitely their level has dropped from week 1, no questions asked, but how good quite are Luminosity right now? Do they still need a change? We'll see in that match versus OpTic tomorrow. So this is a ridiculous 3-piece from Gunless. He knows that there's 2 guys here coming on the flank. And yeah, one of them's Jetly. Gunless hops out the map with the Mozu, comes back in, takes the fight on Jetly and wins it. Even after Jetly has like first 5 bullets, Gunner still manages to win the fight. He guns down Parzelion as well, and they finishes off the job taking down Llama God to get full streaks on the board. And oh my god, that is the Gunless in MVP form right there. That's the kind of player you want to see. Like, no respect for Midnight whatsoever. And this was in the control to close out the series right here. So LG up 2-0 already. They're up in live count. Gunless goes and takes a gunfight onto Parzelion here. And look at Formal. This is the 4-piece with the Annihilator here. He missed a couple of shots from here the other day. Takes down 2 with that left trigger aiming. And yeah, nearly got the full 5-piece, which would have been gorgeous, but missed the very final bullet. But yeah, it's not long here before Luminosity just run away with this one in its entirety, because once again, Slacked having a pretty solid game at 9 and 10. Yeah, Formal 21 and 10, Gunless 21 and 10. This is just something that happens on this map, and John is the man with the 2-piece from time to time. Parzelion does a good job to get 2, but even with 8 lives remaining on Midnight, there's nothing they can do to get back into this hardpoint when you've got Gunless shooting like that. And LG close out the series with didn't even break a sweat this series, which is what I find so crazy. So these are the box scores for the series. Once again, look at that. Basically a 2.0 for Gunless, 1.4 for Formal, 1.7 for Slacked, which is, well, definitely pretty damn impressive. And when Luminosity are playing like that, who knows? Is it just the individual talent shining through, or is there something deeper here? The final series of the day, OpTic versus GenG, and GenG come out on top here. It was a very close series down the stretch, and they're still undefeated in search. And the real story here was they actually won a map number 1. Every single one of their series, the 5 series they played, they lost the map number 1, but still came back to win the series quite remarkably. So right here, they actually win the map number 1, and then they don't know what the hell to do. Now, OpTic are up a little bit early, and yeah, GenG come back super hard. Right now, like, Havoc just goes off in this one, and Maniac has a really tough series in the hardpoints, and the fact that GenG is still able to win is really, really impressive. Now, Maniac did have a very big highlight play in the Search and Destroy map 2, which we'll see in a second, but GenG winning map 1 hardpoints against OpTic is something you wouldn't expect. Of course, it is not the dashy OpTic, it's the zoomer OpTic, in case you're watching this several months down the line and, you know, you want to recap some stuff. Yeah, so OpTic are playing with zoomer right now. Dashy isn't going to be back until Fort Worth, most likely, so, of course, there is a very big asterisk next to this one, and it would have been very interesting to see how GenG had fared against the dashy OpTic. So map number 2, GenG closes out as well in 6-4 on payload search and destroy. Really was thanks to that ridiculous Maniac 1v3 he got that we'll show in just a second. Zoomer having a poor map, you know, the Twitch chat really flip-flops between when Zoomer's having a good map, they love him, when Zoomer's having a bad map, they don't love him. I'm sure they'd prefer dashy, but that's the situation as it stands right now. So GenG closed out map number 2. So this is the 1v3 for Maniac. He's in a 1 versus 3, looking for some action. Zoomer tags him up, and you think at this point it's basically impossible. They've got him trapped in. Scump and Co, they know he's gone this way. And yeah, Crimsix taking this fight was, well, he didn't have to take it, I don't think, but then again, he was kind of forced to, considering he was in that tunnel. So okay, it's down to a 2 versus 1. Zoomer and Scump against the world here in Major Maniac, and with 30 seconds left, Zoomer and Scump decide to back down, which is a pretty intelligent play here. They're playing this together still. Zoomer gets incredibly unlucky timing as Maniac hides behind that wall. Maniac shoots him in the back, and he sees Scump going towards Connector, and this is the play that really makes the round for me. Instead of planting, he waits in this corner. He knows that Scump has to come and re-pick the bomb to check for the defuse, or check for the plant, sorry. And wow, I thought that was super impressive for Maniac. Yes, there were some mistakes on the side of OpTic there. Splitting up just a little bit did Zoomer, and yeah, the timing he got was very unfortunate, but that play at the end to win the 1v1 on Scump was very nice indeed. So this is where the reverse sweep could potentially have started to happen. OpTic won the control, and it was a very close one. There were a couple of rounds that could have gone either way for GenG. They almost forced it to a round number 5, but Karma and Zoomer had the Vision Pulse and the Gravity Slam prepared, and Karma won a huge gunfight on Spacely, and then got the 2-piece with the Grav Slam to close out that map. So OpTic definitely had some confidence going into map number 4, as you can see right here, and they won this one as well, 250 to 139. I think this was on Hacienda instead of Seaside, but yeah, OpTic were never behind in this one. Wasn't even particularly close, because I was thinking, yeah, OpTic, historically, maybe they haven't been so good at this map. They lost it to Midnight in the first week. They got pretty battered on it at Vegas with against Splice in that series they played. So I was thinking maybe GenG have a chance here, especially how good they usually look in map 4 hardpoints. But OpTic were super comfortable right here. Scump went off. Zoomer had a fantastic map. Like, when Zoomer's having a great map, this team is ridiculously hard to beat. And yeah, Nagafan may well have been the player of the series for GenG, just going off. But yeah, not quite to be for them. All depends on a map 5, but if you're GenG right now, who cares if you go to a map 5, man? You're going to win it anyway. They are still undefeated in Search and Destroy, and this map had huge ramifications right here. I guess you could also say Havoc was probably the MVP of the series, because goddamn did he go off in this map number 5. 2 pieces left, right and centre, and OpTic couldn't get anything going apart from TJ. Yeah, you see 3 kills all across the board. Couple of rounds traded back and forth early on, but GenG are super good at adapting to what the other team is doing and changing mixing things up late round, and it's actually incredible how good these guys are at search right now. Seem pretty impenetrable, and you know, the old mantra, search and destroy wins championships. Who knows by the time it comes to Fort Worth? And talking of Fort Worth, GenG are going to have the #1 seed for Fort Worth, given the fact that they are topping Division A as it stands right now. So this is the end of match stats, as you can see right here. Scump gets an honorary MVP award, but yeah, Havoc and Morks were going off in this one. Nagafen I also thought was pretty decent, but regardless, the big names from GenG stepping up in this one. These are the standings at the end of day 3 of week 2, and GenG topped the lot with 6-0. OpTic and Midnight at 4-2, pretty damn good result from OpTic considering they've got a substitute. Red Reserve at 3-3, UIU at 3-3. They play each other tomorrow. Reciprocity, LG and EG down there are 0-6, and I'm not sure if many of you guys are expecting this, but we'll see how tomorrow's matches turn out. They seem pretty damn hard to call as well, but GenG are impenetrable right now at the top position, which means they will be #1 seed for CWL Fort Worth, because I guess it kind of counters for the fact that Division 2, they have the more recent LAN practice before Fort Worth on March the 15th, so GenG and the guys in Division A get the higher seeds as a result, so GenG in theory should get the easiest pool, which is not something you would have predicted when they were at the Pro League qualifier, 1-3, getting 5-1 swept map 5 against 100 Thieves. And these are the matches for tonight: Red UIU, Midnight GenG, Reciprocity EG, OpTic Luminosity. I'm going to favour Red, GenG. Oh man, that third series is tough. I guess I'll go Reciprocity and OpTic Gaming. I somewhat fancy EG in that one for some reason. Super tough to call, but anyway, like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.